we're turning our attention to club hurling, and I'm delighted to say we have Trevor Fletcher with us. Trevor, good morning to you. How are you?
How are you, Ger and Shane? How are you doing? Are you well?
Yeah, very good. Where did you grow up?
Roscrea. I grew up in Roscrea, County Tipperary, and moved into Tralee then, and then I moved over to New York for 4 years. Then came back to Kilcormac.
So Kilcormac is where you kind of became an adult. Is that fair? Or what age were you when you were?
No. Well, no, I went to New York when I was 23.
Okay, right.
I came back then in say 27, and I moved to Kilcormac then. I met my now wife in New York, who's from Kilcormac, so we moved to Kilcormac then, and we had our eldest daughter was born in New York, Kayla, and then we were after having 2 more boys now since then, Owen and Lachlan.
Okay, right. So you married into Kilcormac Calahi?
Yeah, I married into Kilcormac Calahi, yeah.
Very good. And you raised your kids in Kilcormac Calahi?
Yeah, the kids are all, Bar Kayla were born in New York, but yeah, all the kids were raised in Kilcormac.
And then at the weekend, you went up against Kilcormac Calahi in the Offaly hurling final?
I did. It was a strange one, very strange.
What was the crack with that? When did you join Shinrone as manager?
So this is my second season with them. So last year I was with Shinrone, joined them last year. So this is my second season with them. I would have finished playing senior hurling with KK. I'm still playing a bit of junior with them, but I finished senior in 2016.
Okay, right. Is it true that you went and beat them in the county final and then lined out for the juniors a couple of hours later?
It was actually the day previous. We had the junior A semi-final against Ballinamere on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, and then I suppose 25 hours later I was battling against them.
I mean, this is one of those typical brilliant stories that the club scene throws up from time to time. But what's it actually like for you? I mean, you've got a job to do, and you've been slaving away for 2 years, and we all know the level of professionalism that goes into being the manager of a club team, particularly a senior team who believes they have a chance of glory. Because if you're not at it in every training session, somebody on the team is going to be complaining. So you have to be at it, and it takes up all your thoughts and minds. But at the same time, it's against a club who, you've made your home, and I'm sure you've volunteered, and I'm sure that the family are very committed to you as well. So what's it actually like? Is it difficult?
Yeah, definitely difficult. Probably more emotional than anything else. But I suppose I know a lot of the players, I know the manager, and they know I have the job to do, and it's very simple. When you enlist, you must soldier, and I gave everything I could for Shinrone for that day. There's no hard feelings at anybody. I hurled with 4 or 5 of them. I won medals with 4 or 5 of them. That's on the team, and I would have coached about 4 or 5 of them to win minor and 16 titles as well with KK. So they know how passionate I am about hurling, and they knew I would give Shinrone all my best.
You must have, after the semi-final win, Trevor, I mean, I know is the Blue Ball pub there down in Kalahi? Like, you're probably in there, and there's lads from the Kalahi team ahead of the final who you'll be coming up against. So is it an awkward conversation? Are they wishing you luck?
Yeah, it was fun. Actually, after, obviously, we won in the Saturday. We won the semi-final on the Saturday. So I obviously went in and watched the other semi-final with KK and Burr on the Sunday. And obviously stopped on the way home from the match in the Blue Ball, and some of the players came in, and obviously I would be a lot friendlier with some of the senior players, the likes of Ger and the full forward, and he said to me, "We'll talk to you today, Fletch, but we won't talk to you for the next 2 weeks." And that was just a bit of banter that was there. But I also knew it was my time to leave as well, because they probably wanted to analyse the semi-final, and they're going up against me. So we had 2 or 3 points with the boys. I knew it was time to leave as well, because they wanted their time too.
Things are just getting interesting at that stage. 2 or 3 points. The 4th point, you're like, "Here, listen, you're a full back." No, I've had my eye on him the whole time. I'm going to absolutely, just need to be careful about that. Did it help in the end that you had a big enough victory that actually, it wasn't as on a knife edge maybe as some of these county finals have been in recent years?
Oh, absolutely. For a personal reason, I couldn't have worked out a better way, to be quite honest with you. There's no big controversy. There's no decisions. There's no, I ref this, or it was a wide, or it was I couldn't have worked out a better way for me, to be honest.
In the house then, what colours are being worn? You're obviously in the red and white, but is it yellow and green in the house, or are they for one day only supporting you?
No, very much so, green and yellow. It was funny getting to the car. I had my Shinrone top on, and the wife Gemma had her KK, and the 2 boys, Owen and Lachlan, they were KK. And the little fella Lachlan said to me, he's 12, he just said to me, she's Dad, I'm not shouting for you today. Which is, I totally understand. I suppose his point of view was he's never seen Kilcormac, or can't remember Kilcormac winning a county final. So he wanted Kilcormac to win for memories for himself.
What does it mean to a club like Shinrone? Because as far as I know, they've been in the final before, but they've never won it. Is that correct?
Yeah, the last final room was 1960, so that was 62 years ago. Look, it's huge. It's huge. To put into words straight away, I probably can't what it means to them, and they probably won't realise it for another few months. Don't get me wrong, there was fantastic celebrations, the homecoming. The players loved it. I know the kids loved it, and just a reflection with a few of the players' fathers. This is what it means to them. I won't name names, but one of the fathers was milking the cows at 6:30 or 7 on the Monday morning. They started crying that we just after winning the county final yesterday. So it means everything to them.
Sorry, just going to say on that, like Kilcormac Killoughey, a lot of people's favourites heading into the final as well. Trevor, like, were you expected to put up a fight? Was it kind of a case of David versus Goliath heading into the match, or was it more evenly poised?
Well, there were favourites going in, and rightly so. They had won their 5 out of 5 games coming through the championship semi-final, or their 4 group games, and they won the semi-final. So there would have been favourites going in, but I knew going in, if we could be thereabouts at half time with them, that we'd have a shout, and that's how it transpired. We kicked on in the second half. We got, I think it was 6 points in a row in the second half, and that kind of gave us a great platform to bring it home.
I'm interested in your perspective about the general standard at the moment, because we are all desperate for Offaly to get back to the top tier and to bring us back to the heyday when they were competing for All Ireland. When they were doing that, there was like the core of the team were part of one of the great club teams that there ever has been, that crop who came from Burr. But if they're going to make it back to the top table, you need Kilcormac Killoughey, you need Shinrone to be producing 2 or 3 players who are of inter-county standard, and then inspiring the generation after that to come through and to stick with the game and to train at the level that you need to train at. Like, I do wonder, as somebody who has a little bit of perspective from what things were like in Tipperary growing up, you were part of the same underage teams as Owen Kelly, so you've seen the absolute elite of the game and what they do and how they prepare and the skills work that they do in training. What's your take on where the game is at the moment in Offaly and the gap that they still have to make up to get back to that top tier?
Yeah, look, they're making a good headway, I think. I actually listened to Johnny Pilgrim earlier in the podcast, and Johnny B. My Milkman is a great character, and I think he hit the nail on the head with the facilities in Faithful Fields is fantastic, and I think we're going to get the fruition of that going forward, because they're now training at a top-class centre. They're seeing the seniors training before them, and I think they are going in the right direction. I'll be quite honest with you. They're into Joe McDonough. They just have to, I suppose, for the next Johnny. I know Johnny Kelly, and Johnny Kelly will put his heart and soul into it. Martin Marr coming on board, so they're getting top-class coaches. And I do agree with you in the sense that you need 2 or 3 very good hurlers from each club to drive it on. And I think it's there in Kilcormac Killoughey, it's in St. Rynagh's, Shinrone, Burr. So I think there is. I think they have a very good chance in the next 3 to 4 years of getting out of Joe McDonough.
Like turning even minor success in Offaly into senior level success, it's never a given, Trevor. Like that minor level success is going to turn into something positive at senior level. But I remember yourself on that Tip minor team with Owen Kelly, and you were a bit of a prodigy coming through in that team. But Tip certainly did transfer that from minor success into senior. Like, are you confident that Offaly can do the same now after last year's minor victories?
Well, knowing the minor team quite well, a lot of the players are six starters from Kilcormac Killoughey. I suppose you look at the kids, you look at their background, their family background, and even you look at the whole minor 15 team that started. Normally, you're lucky to get 2 or 3 hurlers that will transition into senior level. But looking at that Offaly minor team, I could definitely see 5 or 6 lads in the next few years coming onto the Offaly team, which will be a huge boost to Offaly.
I did want to ask you about that breakthrough team from Kilcormac Killoughey who kind of put the club on the map, that reached the club final that you were part of. Because you have that experience, when you're talking to your team now, is there any of that you can lean back on and go, look, it's brilliant, right? The story you tell about the man milking the cows crying, like, I think that really brings home to everybody listening just exactly how much of a breakthrough moment it is. It'd be natural for them to relax and go, nothing else matters now, we've done our bit. But you've been part of a team that dreamed a little bit bigger after making a breakthrough. Are those conversations started? Is it even fair for me to ask you? Like, I mean, you've done everything that you could have possibly dreamed of, but at the same time, there's still another competition you're in.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, 2012, I spoke about it before I went and did interviews for the county final with the wife, with Gemma, and it was probably from the we won the county final, going to the All Ireland club final, probably the six best months of our lives as a club, as a family, and albeit we're starting to have a conversation. When Dubai's had a week off, we're back training there last Tuesday night. We're taking it one step at a time, but I am kind of remembering what happened with us. It's now winter hurling. It's not going to be as nice as it was during the summer. So the boys, I'm leaning back on my own memories of how we prepared and what the pitches are going to be like, what the weather is going to be like. So I'm giving them every little bit of information that I can recall myself. You can't think too far ahead. Every team that's still left in the championship always have dreams and beliefs of playing the biggest day for a club is the All-Ireland Club Final. But look, we have Naas next. They're a really, really good team. They're All-Ireland Intermediate champions, and you don't win any All-Ireland title for nothing.
That Club All-Ireland appearance with yourself when you were playing, Trevor, really interested to listen to James O'Donoghue on the football pod during the week, where he was talking about losing a county final and a missed chance at one stage in the match that he still thinks about to this day. And if it pops into his head, it's there for an hour. And I don't want to focus on the negative, because back then you were county champions, you were Leinster champions, you went on after that to win a few county titles in a row. But that All-Ireland club final defeat to St Thomas's, and granted you had a good game yourself that day, but are there elements of games like that stick in your head? You think, geez, we were very close to an All-Ireland club medal.
Yeah, absolutely. And people do ask you about how did it feel, and for me it was unfortunately as a team, it was our probably worst performance that year. On the biggest day. Look, we had a few decisions that went against us, and there's not much you can do about that. But as regrets, no, there's no regrets. But yeah, you would say that it was just unfortunate that we didn't perform overly great on the biggest day.
I remember hearing the great Brian Mullins always held some element of grudge for the 83 final, wasn't it, with the couple of red cards, and it's something you can hold on, like a couple of harsh red cards in that game as well, Trevor. Are you still holding on to those? Will you carry them with you for the rest of your days?
Look, listen, I can't do anything about it anymore. I'm a firm believer in you can control what you control, but there's not much I can do about that. We couldn't do much about it on the day, only try and do the best we could. What happened, the referees are going to make decisions. Look, we all know refereeing at the minute is very, very tough, and at the end of the day, there'll be no matches without referees. So look, it's not a grudge, to be quite honest with you, but it's just it was unfortunate that it happened to us on the biggest day.
One last thing, the Republic of Ireland women's national team obviously going to the World Cup next year. Your daughter's on a football scholarship, a soccer scholarship in America. How did that all come about?
Yeah, look, she's a talented little woman. She plays a lot of camogie as well and soccer, and she joined Peamount under 17 League of Ireland team, and I suppose she was I think it was 5th year she was in, and we started asking her questions, what do you want to do, where do you want to go college wise, and this came up, and we signed up with Stephen Murray Agency, and he got us then in contact with colleges in America, and she's now over in Monroe College in New Rochelle in New York. So, and that's where she was born. Actually, I believe she was born only 20 minutes away in Woodlawn. So yeah, she's over there now. She's having a great time. College has started. Soccer's going quite well. It looks like they're going to make the playoffs as well. So that's starting now. The playoffs are going to be the 4th of May.
It's an incredible opportunity, isn't it? Because that was one of the things that in a previous generation, like 2 generations ago, there was kind of a little bit of a sense of, we're training these kids to play, and then they're going off to America. And I'm like, that's the best thing that could possibly happen. They'll go off, behave like professionals, get a great education, and then come back when they're ready if they want to.
Well, this is it. Look, I spoke to Kayla outside of being on a scholarship or being a college in America. She's living in New York at 18 years of age. The experience she's going to gain for that for the rest of her life is going to be phenomenal.
Do you still have family and friends over there? So it's a bit of a homecoming for her in some ways.
Yeah. A lot of my I don't have any family, but Gemma has family there. But a lot of our very good friends is there. My best friend is there, Mickey Marr and Dave Lucknan and Mike DeVivo, Stephen Carter. She chats with them nearly every day, and Gemma has relations there, and there's so many, like when you go to America, your friends become your family, so we really have a great contact there.
And when you see the match the other night, I guess and I'm not saying she's going to make the World Cup squad or anything like that, but you can see why being part of a movement that is growing as fast as the women's national team is at the moment, that the opportunities are going to be there for her to have an elite career if she wants it?
Yeah, look, I think women's soccer in general over the world is probably one of the biggest growing sports, and it's great that she's involved, and there's going to be, she knows herself, there's going to be opportunities there. So when they come, please God, she just has to put her hand up.
Trevor, we wish you the very best of luck against Naas. Congratulations, it's an incredible story. Thanks a million for joining us.
No problem. Thanks, lads.
It's Trevor Fletcher there, the manager of the Shinrone hurlers, who won their first county championship in Offaly.